Good Thursday morning is your Loudoun County weather outlook for January. Yeah, don't we wish? How about July 24th, 2025? Today will be the beginning of the warm-up. The cool air that's been around, it's still feeling pretty nice this morning early, will get edged out of here and humidity will rise today. We'll get up into the low 90s. It'll start to feel a lot hotter. Tomorrow we do have a heat advisory. In fact, no surprises there. Temperatures soar into the upper 90s. Heat index is around 106, 109 degrees. Will be something we'll have to deal with. Still hot on Saturday, highs in the low to mid 90s. On Sunday, now it looks hotter. Highs in the upper 90s again. 90s will continue into next week, and by next Wednesday, we could have the hottest day of this stretch. Honestly, I would not be surprised to see temperatures in the low hundreds. The good news is that on about Wednesday, Thursday time frame, it looks like a front's going to come through here. We'll have to watch for severe weather, although it could come in with just wind. What I am noticing is a drier outlook for the next week. There are thunderstorm chances tomorrow, maybe even a strong and severe storm as possible, and through the weekend. But really, this looks like a drier pattern until we get to about Wednesday, Thursday when that front comes through, and then it looks dry after that. So we went from a very wet pattern to a much drier outlook here as we go forward. I'm going to go quickly through this. You're going to see us kind of in a pretty dry pattern, so there's really not a lot to report about, except for maybe afternoon and evening showers and storms. So we're already here to Saturday with a chance of showers and storms. Sunday and Monday. Monday looks dry here. It looks really hot. Tuesday and then Wednesday, still dry. There are some, areas where storms and showers and stuff are trying to get their act together. So we may see that come to fruition. If they do, it'll probably be late afternoon, evening, more likely than anything. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday here is when we see that better chance of showers and storms. You can see it shown up here on the radar. On the depiction here on the model. As we go into Thursday, here comes the front. You can see these tightly packed 500 millibar level heights, which is what they call it. And you'll see it pressing towards us with showers and storms as we go into Thursday. And then that by Friday will usher in much nicer weather. There's a high to our north and to our west. If you ever get a high to your west, in the northerly wind component, you're going to get cooler air. This is going to usher in much drier air. Temperatures next weekend could be seeing 70s for highs, maybe for a few days. We'll have to see. It's really close, by the way, of getting this moisture involved and engaged, so hopefully it's not the case. But if this high slips off to the east, we get an easterly fetch. That will also make it cooler, but it could also bring in some cloudiness, so we'll have to watch. That high is really in control, so it's going to bring us some cooler air for several days before it gets edged out of here eventually, and when it does, we'll warm back up. But then it looks like potentially, after a few days of maybe some hotter and moist and humid conditions, another high trying to slip down here. So this is a good repeating pattern that's showing us warm-ups and cool-downs with high pressures coming in out of Canada. So we got a heat wave, but then maybe only smaller periods of hot weather followed by some cooler shots of weather. So how cool will it be? We'll look at two things here. We'll look at the upper level heat pattern. So we're actually looking at the individual day, how far off or above or below we are. This shows us the upper levels and where it's above normal temperatures. It can give us a really good idea. So here's the heat range. You see us, we're way above normal in the upper levels. This is 850 millibars. This is not too far off the surface, but it's pretty high up there. And you see that heat really building in here and just sticking around all week long with a resurgence every single day. It's a really, really hot pattern for this time of year. Which, it's not atypical to be hot this time of year, so it's not like, whoa, it's anomalous. But it's very, very hot. You can see it hot and then heat really sticking around through Wednesday next week. And then it finally, by Thursday, gets beat out of here by this front that comes through and really drops temperatures down and humidity down so that we're below normal for multiple days in a row. And that cooler upper level winds stick around until finally, like I said, they kind of get edged out of here late in the period and maybe return to more heat. But I did want to note that I did see this high coming down from the north, so maybe there'll be some relief. But this doesn't look very cool. This is heat from coast to coast in the long range, so hopefully that doesn't come true. How hot will it be? Let's take a look at the surface temperatures. So to show that we're not alone, here we are today. We're going to get up there into the low 90s as mentioned. We go forward, you see how hot we are. I mean, this temperature's in the upper 90s here tomorrow and on Saturday as well. So it's going to be hot. I mean, Saturday I think it will be a little bit cooler. And then on Sunday, maybe right back up there into the upper 90s, maybe even 100 degrees. We'll have to see if this comes true. Just going to be scorcher temperatures. Not moving much on Monday either. And here we are by Wednesday. Wednesday, I think, maybe the hottest, where we could definitely top 100 degrees. That's actual highs, not the humidity involved high. But that's Wednesday of next week. But you see by Thursday, boom, we're starting to see some erosion. It's still pretty hot on Thursday in the 24-hour period. This is measuring every 24 hours, and then boom, here comes the cooler air. I mean, look at these temperatures, highs in the low 80s as we go into Friday, and maybe even cooler as we go into Saturday. We're talking 70s? Is that even possible? We'll have to see. This could be really crazy as far as temperatures go, with highs mainly only in the 70s. Don't get too used to this. I mean, this is really cool this time of year, so you can expect it's going to get eroded out. And it does, ultimately, in the longer range. But that is a good stretch of some cooler than normal temperatures, at least through several days after next weekend. And then still continuing there in the longer term. And then, boom, it gets eroded out of here in the very long term. Back up to what we're experiencing with the low 90s. Whether or not this comes true is something we'll have to note and see. Now, it looks like a very dry pattern. So we look at the forecast overall for the moisture content. Through the 7 days, we will go local here. I kind of wanted to show you overall just how hot the whole country was. That's why I stayed with the bigger map. Just kind of showed us that. This is the 7-day outlook. This is not a lot of rain. Half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain. Obviously, you get a local thunderstorm. It could be a lot more. All right, there's a long outlook for basically saying weather doesn't look too dramatic from a precipitation perspective, but it's going to get really hot for at least the next 5 to 6 days. And then a nice cool down for at least 5 or 6 days. So hold on. Hopefully we will survive, I'm sure. But keep your pets watered, your outdoor activities minimal, and check on people who could have challenges in this type of weather. Have a good one.